What a beautiful palette of colors, and these melody notes just sustain so beautifully. Hello and welcome to the Guitar Collection. Today I have the pleasure to share with you a guitar made by Giussani Guitars, which is an Italian guitar making father and son team between Gioachino and Jacopo Giussani. Now, their guitars have been popular for a number of years, and it's actually been many years since I played one of these, so it's such a pleasure to have one in brand new condition from the year 2025 in my shop. And before we get into the sound details, let's talk a little bit about the specs of this guitar. You will notice all sorts of super cool features on this guitar. It has a cedar top with this satin finish, I would call it. You'll notice right away this beautiful rosette that has this golden look to it here in these tiled little blocks that create the rosette. Looking down here at the bridge, you'll see this very angular bridge with these winged ends to them that gives it a very striking look. However, it's not overbearing. It's a very classy look to it. And then it gets very interesting here. We have a raised fingerboard design here, so it makes it very easy to reach the upper frets. And I almost forgot to mention the bracing of this guitar. It is an all-wood lattice bracing. That's quite interesting. There's lattice more towards the center, and then towards the outside of the guitar, towards the edges, there's less lattice and more just bars. So a very interesting soundboard design. And then these interesting features are numerous, and I think they all really add a lot to the guitar. It's not just features for the sake of features. We have a sound port here, a singular sound port, yet it has a little miniature tornavoz inside it. Maybe it's not so miniature, it's fairly deep. And now, for those of you that know, when you drill a hole into a guitar here, no matter where it is in the sides, it's going to raise the main air resonance, the tap tone of the guitar, the main body resonance. Now, theoretically, if you put a tornavoz inside a sound port, it should help lower that back down. So I have to imagine that's why they might do it. And this guitar, in turn, does have a very deep, beautiful sound to it. So now, maybe the star of the show is this beautiful Cypress back and sides here, which actually has a very thin polyurethane finish. It helps protect it. And at the same time, this guitar doesn't have that glazed donut look to where it looks like overly shiny. It looks very, very nice. I would guess that it's French polish. It's so nice that it is polyurethane, like many luthiers are switching here to today, because it's just a little bit more resistant to play over time. And it's got a beautiful look to it with these two red stripes that go down the center and then border the guitar's bindings. Now, moving to the neck of this guitar, I do notice that there is a not too much of a heel here. So when you are playing in the upper positions, whether it is this heel that's cut away or we're talking about the raised fingerboard, it makes it extremely easy to reach these upper positions, which sometimes can be a little tricky on guitars that either have a big heel or no raised fingerboard. Moving on up to the headstock, you'll see a very simple and elegant headstock design here with also a satin finish. It's got to be ebony here. And then tuners are Schaller, not to be confused with Scheller. These are Schaller Grand Tunes, which are very reasonably priced tuners, nothing fancy. But actually, that comes down a little bit to the philosophy of Giussani Guitars. And actually, they mention this on their website. Jacopo says something about how they maintain a reasonable price for their guitars, not to be hyper inflated and not to be confusing high prices with high craftsmanship. It's of course not always the case. So if you're looking for a very reasonable and excellent guitar, I mean, this really might be the one for you. And while you don't have things like fancy tuners, you've got a fancy sound, because this thing is very complete, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. There's been a number of famous players that have been playing or have played in the past Giussani guitars, including a friend of the channel, Beatrix Kovacs, whose main guitar is a Giussani. And she has many different videos on these guitars, whether it's a performance video or her many incredible instructional videos and informational classical guitar videos. Now, let's talk a little bit about the shape of the neck. I am very particular about this, and this neck is extremely comfortable. It's somewhere between a very thin neck and a moderately thick neck. It's very comfortable in the hand. It's very much C-shaped. There's no evidence of any D shape here. The action is very low, and there is room to adjust there as well. And overall, when you play this guitar, it is extremely comfortable. And you'll hear players say that about these guitars, about them just having this level of comfort. And it's not just to do with the left hand, it's how the notes are produced and how comfortable you feel on the guitar with the sound. And the sustain is really something else on this guitar. Now I have to admit, I have not played a Giussani guitar in many years now, so this is a very new experience for me too. So far, I'm feeling like I really can't detect what style of guitar this is. You know, is it traditional? Is it a double top? Is it lattice bracing? Of course, I mentioned already that is a lattice bracing, but it's not super obvious to me that it is. It has tons of volume, so maybe that would clue you in. But it does not have a mid-range nasal sound, at least in my opinion. Really nice, complete, filled out sound, and very, very well balanced. And I want to show you just how nice this sustain is with a little bit of Prelude 11 by Francisco Tárrega. Overall, it's a guitar that you feel really comfortable on. There's no big oversights and sustain on any of the frets. And in fact, there's a really nice separation between voices on this guitar. Even being a cedar top, maybe it's the help of the Cypress back and sides adding character to this guitar. But there is just a really nice separation. Like if I play this melody, I feel like these inner voices are just so clear. Even when I'm just barely touching the strings to bring out a note. There's such an elegance to this guitar, especially in that melody and the, you know, how careful you can be with these inner voices. Let's try a little bit of Capricho árabe by Tárrega. What a beautiful palette of colors, and these melody notes just sustain so beautifully. I'd like to actually try a little bit of Endecha by Tárrega, which I've been playing on a lot of guitars lately. You know what? Something I noticed about this guitar is that it doesn't pick up a lot of left-hand shifting noises or nail noises. There's a clarity to the sound. It's not that it's overly dark, but maybe it's something about the Cypress back and sides or the way that he doubles the sides on this guitar. These are doubled sides because when you look in the guitar, it's not Cypress on the inside. That's how you tell if your guitar is doubled with certainty, is if it's a different color on the inside of the side than the outside or the back. But yeah, there's this quietness about maneuvering around this guitar that's really refreshing, especially if you're someone who struggles with squeaking a lot in the left hand. This guitar covers up some of that sound, which is very nice. Well, what a lovely guitar to get to know. Congratulations to both Gioachino and Jacopo at Giussani Guitars. This is such a lovely guitar at a really affordable price point. I think it's a really cool thing that they're trying to keep their guitars at an affordable level. Of course, you have to keep in mind, this is a hand-built guitar. This is not a factory-made guitar. So it does cost something. It is an investment. But I think it's a guitar that you can feel really good about the investment in terms of the playability and the sound and the craftsmanship. And I mean, it's really a gorgeous instrument. So if you're curious to learn more about this guitar, you can check it out at guitarcollection.com. You'll see the listing there along with a full album of beautiful photos and a description. You'll see a place where you can email me about the instrument that is also in the description here on YouTube. And you could also go ahead and hit subscribe to this YouTube channel. That'd be really nice. So many of you that watch these videos do not hit subscribe. So if you just take a second to log in and hit subscribe, it would be awesome. Thank you so much for watching these videos. Definitely tune into my live streams every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central Time. I'd love to see you there. And I hope you've enjoyed this preview and this little review of this guitar. You can color me impressed. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.